Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Terry, a subscriber, has asked for a video to explain my settings in sort of Bambu Studio and described a problem in that he doesn't get good quality prints or have the ability to have his prints stick to the hotbed with any degree of success. Now, not going to teach Terry to suck eggs. He's already had an end of farms and had great success with that. But I just wanted to briefly walk through some of the problems that I've encountered in the past, and hopefully some tips and insights will help Terry or anybody else. So one of the things I did explain was, that I'd had similar issues with poor quality prints and bed adhesion issues. Now, what I do is obviously pre-printing. I make sure my bed plate is clean, and I use isopropyl alcohol for that. But then I use a product called 3D Lac. That's 3D LAC, 3D Lac, and spray that on, which helps adhesion. But somebody gave me a tip not so long ago about increasing the temperature of the heat bed, and that has had great success. So what I do for that is, obviously you've got any number of filaments that you use, but I found that within each filament I can go into the settings. So I'll pick Elegoo PLA white here, and I'll go into the settings for that, and then I'll go into the cooling settings, and then I've got I'm telling a lie, I'll stay in filament settings and then print temperature. Obviously I match the nozzle temperature to a calibration temperature tower that I run, which tells me the optimal temperature, and you can find that temperature tower on all good 3D printing websites, or you could use Orca Slicer, and there's a calibration option up at the top of the Bambu Studio menu bar here, and you can choose temperature tower, and it'll give you a good indicator of the best temperature to print that filament at. The other thing that I do is I've raised my initial layer and other layer temperature for my textured PEI plate to 70 degrees C. I could do that with the others as well, but I only have the textured PEI plate raised at 70, and that really helps to seat the print to the bed. That with the cleaning and the 3D Lac and that. Failing that, I could also add a brim to any sort of prints, especially smaller prints. I could come into others, select brim type, and outer brim only. And if I run a preview on that, you'll see that it puts a brim around the edge, which really helps to, keep the print to the bed, which is a really good way to do things as well. Other things I found that are really helpful is calibrating your filament with each type of filament that you use, but also drying your filament. That really does help as well. So if you can afford or build your own filament dryer, I do suggest you do that. I can leave a link in the description for the one that I use, which is really good. Dries the filament, helps with not just with sticking to the bed, but it helps with quality as well, because obviously you could get stringing, which is a problem that I've been having a lot recently. And I found drying, but also working on getting the bed right, working on calibrating the filament, etc. So how you do that, you come into calibration and you run flow dynamics, and you can see here in the before and after, it can really give you a good indicator how your filament is performing, and it usually will perform better after drying your filament and running the calibration. It's a matter of choosing your nozzle, choosing your bed plate, choosing the color that you want, the filament that you want to run a test on. You can see I've got various wood PLA calibrated ones already. I still need to do some calibrating on other ones, but I'm finding any cubic PLA silk to be absolutely brilliant. Didn't need anything other than drying, and I can choose lines and patterns, and it tells me what the best options are. One thing I can do, if you just give me 1 second. So what you'll see here is my calibration settings that I tend to use for the flow dynamics calibration. As I say, you've chosen the nozzle type that you've got, the plate type. Choose your filament that you want to calibrate, and here's the values I use from K value 0.01 to K value 0.03, and the value step of 0.001, and run through the calibration for that. So what happens if you click calibrate? It sends it to, I'm just going to cancel, it sends it to the printer, and then it prints out a series of lines and numbers, and you look at the lines which are the best for your filament. There's a wiki up at the top right there which will allow you to walk you through what to do with that, but that really does help as well. And then after that I run a flow rate which prints lots of little squares, and you're looking for the nicest square, and you tell the system what square is the best. And then again it's the same. Choose your nozzle, choose your plate, choose the filament you want to calibrate, and click calibrate. It'll print out a series of squares. You choose the best one and you tell it which is the best one, and it'll do 2 of those, and then it'll record that setting, and I'll show you where it records that setting. Go back into prepare, and I click in here. Actually, I'll go into, where am I? Let me choose calibrated, and that will record that setting here in the flow ratio, etc. And that's specific to that filament. Now, the other side of things that I've found is if I go to device, I've got the option here to set the K value here as well within each. If you're using an AMS, I am using an AMS, but you can also use it in your external spool as well. I've got this little pencil icon here, and I can set the K value specifically here that we've determined is the best. So we can do that as well, confirm that. And that just tells the printer, use these settings, and this is the best setting for my filament. And that really sort of covers that. I don't think there's anything else at this stage, but if you have any questions, Terry, or anyone else, just pop them in the chat. I'd love to hear your recommendations on how to improve printing and adhesion. Certainly, make sure that the first layer doesn't have any cooling. Just reach out. Love to hear your comments. Please subscribe, like, share, etc. And have yourselves a good day.